Hi everyone, so my name is Andrew. As you all know, I'm a creative director of Anchor Media and convener of the church media class. So I want to know if your sound is okay. Today we are going to be looking at budgeting for your live streaming equipment. Okay, so those of you on TikTok, kindly do well to go to my YouTube channel. Okay, I'm using the phone here, TikTok. The reason why you should go to YouTube is that we are streaming direct to YouTube and we have a presentation that I'm doing over there. So go to my bio and check for the link to my YouTube channel, okay? Or you look for Andrew Azasu. Once you go there, you see that I'm live. If the sound is also good, let me know, okay? Those of you on the church media page, kindly let others know that I'm live. And this is also very important for all church media heads and members, okay? I get this question a lot. People asking me about this. So just a second, let me send the link to the page. To inform them that I am live. Okay, thank you. If you can hear me loud and clear, let me know if your sound is okay. Please, those of you on TikTok, join me on my YouTube channel. Okay, so I have a presentation that I'm going to do that's going to talk about equipment. So we can get to the presentation. Quick. Okay, so today's topic, we are looking at live streaming for we are looking at budgeting for live streaming equipment for churches, okay? But if you're also a business and you want to watch the video, you can do the same. But today is especially for churches. The reason why I'm doing this is because I get a lot of questions from people asking me budget. They want to see how much an equipment costs. And sometimes it's very difficult when you don't know the prices, okay? If you don't know the budget the church or people are having, it's also very difficult. So today I'm going to talk about why you have to budget. We'll look at equipment, we will also, okay? So it's very important if you have members who will not be physically present, it's very important to want to connect with them, okay? So that is why a lot of churches want to do live streaming, okay? But it can be overwhelming. Why? Because it's equipment. You have to use money to buy, okay? So it's very important to know that you have that amount of money to be able to set it up. You need some few things to be able to start. So it's very important that you sit down and then get your budget right. That will help you to know whether you want to do live streaming. But as I always mention, I always said live streaming is not for every church, okay? If you think you don't have to do live streaming, you don't have to worry yourself to do the live streaming. It's not for everybody. So it's very important to take note of that. There are some churches, they don't need live streaming because you may not be able to connect with your audience. Your audience are always with you. I know that there are some churches too who need to do live streaming because they want to connect to others, not just their church members. So they want to connect to others. When we started live streaming in my church, I remember that we were insisting we only speak English. But now I realize that a lot of the churches are even using Tree and any other language, and their life is good. And we see a lot of people joining, okay? So now it is not only restricted to just the churches, okay? Excuse me, let me talk to my person controlling my distance. He must be able to, if I'm talking, just let the slide go and all of that. So that's very important to know that it's not every church that is supposed to do that. Now, why do you want to stream? This is the first question you must ask yourself. Why do you want to stream? Please, those of you on TikTok, go to my YouTube channel. I'm doing a presentation, so you see the presentation there. So why do you want to stream? Why do you want to stream? So, for example, you want to reach members, you want to expand your audience, you want to reach new souls, you are doing special program, you want people to see it. So I know some churches, they are not doing live streaming, but when they have a special program, they call us to do it for them, and they pay for it one time, and then we are gone. So that is why they need the live streaming. Then what type of content you stream, okay? So are you interested in putting your sermon up there, or worship service and Bible studies? Some of them you don't even need to do live streaming, okay? Now, Bible studies, probably you want to use Zoom so that everybody will join. Worship service, then you can do the streaming itself. Even sermon, you can do the streaming to any other platform. But, I mean, it is for the church to decide if they really want to go into live streaming. It shouldn't be because everybody is doing it. Yes, it shouldn't be. And no, every Sunday, I normally go to a lot of the pages to see what is going on in the churches. And I realized that some churches don't even have viewers. So you see only 2 or 3 viewers. And then at the same time, some churches are getting 10K, like a huge number when they are live streaming. So you have to assess, okay, and see. So you assess your current resources. The first thing is that you evaluate existing equipment. If you don't have equipment, then you don't have, okay? But if you have equipment, a few equipment you have to evaluate. The first equipment that probably you evaluate that I know everybody is having is the sound system. That's the mixer. So I know a lot of churches will be having the mixer for their sound. So that is one aspect that you can use for live streaming, that you can pick your sound with your video, and then you'll be able to do your live streaming. So you have to assess or evaluate your existing equipment, okay? So you want to see if you have cameras. You want to see if your audio system is in place. And I know that almost every church, their sound system is what they normally look for first before they will even think of any other thing. So you want to look at that. Then you want to also look at internet connection, because the live streaming, you need camera, you need audio system, and then you need internet connection. So those of us in Ghana, the plan is to go exactly 6 o'clock, and I plan to go to live. I'll be on live 10 minutes to the time. But surprisingly, my TurboNet refused to work. My self-line, I didn't want to use the Wi-Fi because it's Wi-Fi. I didn't have the cable. So I have a challenge where I know that maybe the streaming may not be smooth, but I tried using other 2 routers and connected to my YOLO bus. That's what I'm using right now. So internet is very important. Ghana, our internet connectivity is a challenge. So if you're in an area you think your internet is not good, then you have to assess it and see if it's MTN and Vodafone you want to use. It's very, very important, okay? And then you also determine, so we look at identify the gaps, okay? Like determine what's missing. What do you need to do an upgrading, okay? So I have recently received messages from people asking me that I'm using this old system and I want to change to this system, okay? So that is somebody identified that there's a gap. They are not using the new Vision mixers, they are using the old one. So they want to be able to change the whole system to the new one. So they are able to assess their system and know what they need, okay? That is also very important. Then you have to prioritize essential equipment. The reason why I'm smiling is because my church media team recently, they are doing a budget, and I saw the budget. It was huge. Huge amount of money. I mean, and I know when it goes to the top, they are going to look at it critically. So it's very important. You have to prioritize and know that what do you need now, okay? You have to determine what you need as a church. If you give me the room that, oh, you budget for anything, I may go for gimbal, I may go for crane, I may go for Blackmagic cameras, I may go for cameras that uses 70 to 200 because I like quality things, okay? So, but this is a church, and it's not every time that the money is there, they will just give it to you to do your live streaming. So it's very important to prioritize the essential equipment. What are some of the equipment you need? So you need a camera. So you can look at giving the camera and see, is your church able to afford a camera, okay? So it's not every church that will be able to afford a camera. So you can look at that and see if your church is able to afford a camera. But with the camera, if you can't afford it, then you can use a phone. The last time I could, then you have to look at the phone, okay? Please, if you have any questions, just leave it in the comment section and I tend to have to get sound. Sound is very important. As I've been saying, if you are doing your live streaming and your sound is not good, you see a lot of people saying scalability. When we talk about scalability, you choose equipment that allows for future expansion, okay? A better lens and all of that, okay? I think I did post a video recently on my, have that one main camera and then when you need to work connected to your, a cable from the camera, HDMI connected to my comment section for me. So if you want to buy a capture card, I would advise that you get easy worship and all, because every mixer we have in the system now have the capture card capability, the capture card, okay? But there's a limitation to the capture card. You cannot add more cameras to the capture card. So that is also very important. Let's pay attention to that. Then avoid purchasing overly specialized equipment that limits flexibility. So there was a time this person was buying this, it was a mixer also, yeah, that have certain limitations and functions, and it was difficult to really upgrade it, okay? So it's very important to avoid purchasing things that are special equipment, like it's just for this particular thing. Okay, so make sure you get camera that you can easily upgrade, you can use it later, and you can do all of that. Then, after you have all this equipment, it's very important to do training and support for your. My church today, we started asking few questions, started talking about what we can do in certain areas of content. The reason was, once I gave a phone to somebody to do reels for me, and I realized that they were just taking the video 6 seconds. And I realized they are just interested in picking these 6 seconds and combining it and put a song on it. But that's not how I normally would do it, because I want to get every content. If they are singing, I want it 2 minutes, 3 minutes, so that I post the whole thing. Okay, but they were interested in just recording something short that they can combine later in CapCut and then post, which means there's going to be one thing that they are doing, okay? So it's very important to train your team, ensure your media team knows how to operate the equipment, and then they can be able to troubleshoot my slide. Then host regular training session or workshop, okay? You must be training and all of that, because you can buy the equipment and then you don't have people to handle them. So that's very important. Then you have to get support, okay? Work with professionals or consultants to set up your system if needed. And this is something a lot of churches don't do, okay? So I get a lot of churches calling me that, oh, they want this, they want that. Sometimes you do the budget and you realize that they are running away. But it's very important, consult, okay? Get a professional to tell you these are the things you need. The last time a church bought equipment, and when they sent me the list, I look at the list and I asked, the first question I asked, why do you need a PTZ camera, okay? That's the first question I asked. They didn't give me an answer. And so right now I'm looking at, you are buying about 3 PTZ cameras, so you just want to fix them on the wall and then use, okay? Where I am not going to let them buy a PTZ camera, I want the team to be able to shoot different angle, move cameras and all of that, okay? So then I will advise and tell you that, oh, this, if you get only 1 PTZ, is fine. Then you can put that one somewhere doing the wide of the whole room. Then the other cameras will be on a tripod, and then it brings the creativity of the whole team. So it's very important to get a consult. I know some churches too, you have a lot of people within your church who are also professionals, okay? Let's make use of them, because they will be able to get us something good that we can use. It's very important, okay? Now, the other thing I want to talk about is that you can explore cost-saving options, okay? So what are the cost savings? You look for second-hand or refurbished equipment. So you can look for that option. Let me tell you, there are cameras that you buy from outside. I buy normally from B&H. I will show you B&H. There are cameras I buy from there sometimes, and they are good. And when the camera comes, you don't know that it's a used camera. So it's very important to do that. So look for second-hand or refurbished, okay? And especially refurbished. It's just that the Ghanaian the Ghanaian second-hand kind of equipment sometimes it's not easy. You are going to buy it and you regret it because we use it too much. We don't take care of it. But if it's outside second-hand and refurbished, yeah, that is fine. Please, I think I'm mentioning Ghana a lot because I'm in Ghana. If you're in another country, yes, you probably just have to bear with me, and then and if you come to the account, you'll be able to convert it with me, okay? That's what we are going to do. So then you can also look at rentals. You can also look at rentals. So you can rent your equipment for your church service. But you see, I was telling some churches last time that when you are renting for a very long time and you do the calculation, if you were to invest that money into the equipment, you have saved a lot of money. Sometimes we don't know that we can save money when we buy the equipment, okay? So there's a church every week, they are renting Misa and all of that, okay? But as a start, you can start renting the Misa for the guys to know how to use it very well. After that, then you can buy, okay? So you rent, they use it to learn and all of that, so that when they start and you buy the equipment for them, it will be easy for you. So you can look at that anyway. Rental companies, you can look at MCB. MCB have been sponsoring a lot of my programs. So they are the ones I'm going to mention. MCB, and then Flex Multimedia. Flex is also renting equipment. He has some few streaming equipment and then LED screens. MCB Rentals too is having some misses and some cameras that you can rent, okay? Recently, I reviewed a camera, NX800, that I used for live streaming. It was a very sharp camera, so you can look at that option for rental. Take advantage of free software option where possible. So for example, OBS, Prism, those are free. They are open source software that you can buy, okay? If you want to use vMix, as a church, I don't think you want to use a cracked version of the software. I am even paying for it. So if you want to use vMix, I think you should be able to, the church should be able to pay for it. It's not good for a church to use a pirated version of the software. So the church should be able to pay for that. Jeff will be looking at my comment for me. The church should be able to pay for that. So you can look at the options of, now Prism is able to stream to 3 platforms. So really, if you're able to miss all the files, it will be good to just use Prism on OBS, okay? But if you want to use vMix, it means you are going to be paying for it. That is going to make the whole thing expensive, okay? So you need the software and the hardware to be able to achieve all this. Now, in my presentation, I have included something I want us to look at when it comes to cameras, because camera is going to be the main component of your live streaming. Really need, okay? And somebody saying the sound is low.
So on YouTube.
Yeah. Check this. Okay. So I hope the sound is better now. If it's better, just leave it in the comment section. Let me know the sound is better. Okay. Please, those of you on TikTok, if you can go to YouTube, I'm actually doing a presentation. So you can go to the YouTube. If you won't go now, you can go later and watch the presentation, because yeah, I'm actually doing a presentation there. So what is sensor size? So every camera have a sensor, and it is determined by the size, okay? It's just a physical thing. The bigger it is, you see that the more quality your video is going to be. So if it is very big, you see that even in a low light situation where your lighting is very low, you'll be able to get the best out of your video. The reason why I want to look at this is because people are struggling why they need to buy a certain type of cameras. Okay, these are the reasons. So when you want to buy a camera, you have to look at the sensor size. Now we have what we call the full frame, which is 35 So the same size as traditional 35 film and are common in high-end cameras. So the high-end cameras have a full frame. There is there's one before this one. Let me see. Okay, so that's medium format. Okay, some of the cameras now have medium format. Then you have the APS, you have the micro four thirds. A lot of the cameras are within the micro four thirds, and then you have the 1 inch or a smaller sensor. So if you look at this diagram, you see the one I'm talking about is the medium format, which is big. So you have it in a lot of cameras. Then you have the full frame. So my camera I'm using is a full frame. And even though I'm using light, if there's a light out right now and there's a small light entry, I should be able to still get the best out of this. It is less noisy. There is no much noise in it, okay? So you can look at that. Then we have the APS-C, the micro four thirds. So our drone are using 1 inch, and then our in it, then the quality will have even be better. But iPhone 2 have been doing quite a job, okay? So how do we understand cameras and their settings, types and settings for cameras? Okay, so we have what we call the consumer cameras. Limitation is in low light if you struggle, okay? As I mentioned, lighting is very important in your auditorium. So you can get the COB light, profile light, or the LED light, and then you fix them in your auditorium. Now, one nice thing about light guide is that when you are doing the light, make sure the first light that is going to fill or be the main light should be at 45 degrees from the top, and so that it hits from the forehead down, okay? And then if you have, now one thing I don't like, I'll do a video on it for people who are into lighting. Like Ghanaians who do lighting, they just like color light. I don't know why. And you go to an event and they just throw blue color on the whole stage. So the COB light, the profile light, they don't push it in to be able to let the person be bright. So video guys and then photographers tend to suffer a lot. Okay, I've seen a lot of people doing that. The limitation with lighting, and they just throw a lot of color light, RGB light on the stage and making everything look some way. When you pay attention to most of the videos concert outside, you see that the person who is performing or singing or preaching, they normally put a profile light on them or a profile spotlight on them to let them be bright, okay? The reason why I want to watch you is that I want to see you. So if you have color light, let it be in the background. Let your whole background be black, and let those lights be in the moving head should be at the back. If you want some at the top to prevent yourself from that one hitting your pastor and all of that. But it will create a nice effect. So it's very important. Lighting is very important, and I've seen a lot of churches doing well with lighting. I've been to so many churches, and I've seen that we are now investing a lot in lighting. So the consumer cameras, you can get them. Now, with Canon SA11 is around 19,500 to 20,000, okay? Then the Sony, this is a 4K Sony. This Sony camera is a very small camera, but it's good. The quality in terms of lighting is also good when it comes to Sony cameras. So, yes, this camera, the last time I checked, it was more than 20,000. I was shocked. But we'll look at it. I'll go to a page for us to look at it and see. So we have consumer cameras that you can look at. Then we have the DSLR and then the mirrorless cameras. Okay, so what I'm using is a mirrorless camera. So you have the Canon R5, then you have the Sony Alpha. So you can go for the 6400 or the III. Okay, then the Canon 5, the C. And if you are buying a lens, I normally advise churches that if you want to buy a lens, then you are looking for 70 to 200. 70 to 200, let churches buy more of camcorders instead of these DSLR and mirrorless cameras. Resolution, dynamic range is good, and then these cameras are normally used for film, but you'll be surprised you go to a church, you see it. Victory Bible Church and some other churches, they use it. A lot of them just use it. If you go outside, this FX6 in the middle, I mean, it's a common. And when you see the quality of the video on their screen, it's quite sharp, okay? Production with integrated controls. But some of these things, some places, they use them for their church service. So for the Blackmagic studio, very high, okay? So that's very important. Then we are also looking at mixers. So the primary function of a mixer is to enable switching between multiple cameras. So by that, you can upgrade your camera. So when you have your mixer, the 4-channel, you are having only one camera. Once you are ready to buy cameras, you don't need to buy a mixer again. Okay, but if you're using a capture card, which is one input, then you will need a mixer. But with one camera, you can use one camera and the Bible text and all of that will come on screen. Okay, and it's not a big deal if you are using one camera. It's not. So let me quickly talk about some of the mixers. So the first mixer we are seeing here is a Fieldworks. It's one of the cheapest camera mixers you can find. It's 4-channel. It has a small. I think there's a limitation to doing lower tests using the green screen and then the low key. What I can say is that for now, the only challenge we have with output. So if you want to project into the auditorium real time, it's difficult. It's quite difficult. So yeah, if you think you have the budget, you want to get that, and you don't need. Every church needs a certain extension. Either there's an overflow during the 31st night, or there's an overflow during a special program. So that's where you need to buy a mixer that have 2 HDMI output, one for multi-view and then one for program. Even with the program, you can get a splitter connected to the splitter so that anywhere you want the video to go, you can easily send them there, okay? So I think I'm going to talk about features that you have to look for when you are buying a mixer. So your mixer, you have to look for resolution and frame rate support. Those days, a lot of the mixers were not having. Frame rate is 30. You have to make sure your camera is doing 30. But now most of the mixers have a converter in it that it will convert some of these things for you. Okay, so you have to look for mixers that have that. I have been thinking that we have all mixers in this system convert, or yeah, they have a scaler inside it. And I was wrong when I saw a church bought a mixer, and the mixer even doesn't have a capture card capability. And I was surprised that this time who will go and buy an equipment like this. So it's very important, seriously train. But then it's the same things I'll be doing on my live on Sunday. Some mixers, when you put the sound inside, it's not it's not easy. And so sometimes broadcaster mixer that just came, the back is having that. So I've forgotten to mention the rest of the mixers. So we have the Rodecaster, we have the AV Matrix, and then we have the Osego Stream. And I like talking about card and all of that. You stream to 3 platforms. So I don't know what else you want from a device, but it's able to do that. The Rodecaster 2 recently have those functions, but app, like the central app, that where you control it, you need that app to be able to control certain things. Before actually to do it, you can put everything on the SD card. Even with the streaming, you can put the stream key on the SD card and then you load it and stream part of them, so you can look at those ones. Then they have a lot of money, or they have a lot of equipment and they want to flex their body a little. They will be able to get that. Okay, so that is that you start small, which is very important. Begin with the basic setup and improve gradually. Focus on quality over quantity. A simple high quality learning and all of that. And we take some of the criticism and then work with it. Because I know some people say, hey, what do you know? What are you talking about? And all of that. And they are the audience. They have the experience in terms of what they are seeing. So it's very important, these things, okay? So I'm going to take a question. After the question, what I will do is that I will show you a budget of a 2-camera setup. Then we'll also go to some of the online platforms where I buy, some in Ghana, some in the US. Now, the reason why I'm going to do some in the US is I think I have a lot of you following me from Nigeria, Kenya, a lot of the African countries, and then some people are also outside this country. So it is important I just show you some of the prices of the items online, and then you can make an informed decision. So somebody is asking that, please, the B&H gave a restriction that they don't ship to Ghana. How do we get that? The B&H, they ship to Ghana. I've been buying from there. So there are some items that may not ship to Ghana. So it depends on the item. It depends on the item. So what I want to do is I want to open my browser. And when I open in my browser, I was gone to the screen over there. So just give me a few minutes to have it sorted. Is there any other question? So there's a question. Go up and see if there's a question, and then I can answer them. So let me pick some questions that are on. Please, can I have your... Yeah, you can go to my bio. You click on it. There's a link tree there that I have all my WhatsApp and then my call line. So I'm waiting for questions. YouTube. So somebody saying Ghanaian second hand here. So wahala. It's true. Please, if you have a question on the presentation I have done, kindly ask now. And then so can you see my PowerPoint, my Excel sheet? What's showing on that screen? So a minute, let me check. Please, if you have a question, so somebody says I'm using V8 sound card. I don't know if that sound card is there a cheaper sound card available? There's a lot of sound card available, so you have to look for the quality. That will chop all your money. Okay, so Fidi TV, you are from Nigeria. also Go Stream Deck the best. It's not, I'm not going to say the best, but it's a small, that small mishap with the price and the things it can do. I mean, that's why I normally will talk about it. It's a standard broadcast device. I mean, when you look at Blackmagic, they do a lot. But they're also behaving like iPhone. So they've created mini, just that small do program, or you want to do multi-view. So you can just imagine, why would I want to go for a mixer like that when I don't have a programmer? It's doing super source, which if you want to get a super source, go to super source. Just select the super source. So for example, this, you see this super source. So this is my other screen with my picture in it. So you can everything. So the other background is the third one. And also Go Stream is able to do this. A10 mini cannot. Okay. Also Go Stream is able to play from SD card, video from SD card, and A10 mini cannot. A10 mini you have to go and buy a player to connect to it. So that is the reason. Okay, bring it. What splitter is good for video production? That question, D-Tech is good. I mean, I've used system, so you can have seen D-Tech doing well. I mean, and then there are some Chinese ones that if you are using AV Matrix, and also I went for D-Tech, with which you can get from Bell Smile. On which one works for you. But a lot of the product that comes from China are also able to connect. They Go Stream, AV Matrix, they are able to connect. It's just the Blackmagic, sometimes the complication comes in. For example, my A10 mini Extreme, when I connect, can be convert from HDMI to LAN, and I'll show you some pictures of some of the things that you can use. Okay, so if there's no question on YouTube, let's look at my slide. Zoom in a little. Okay. Yeah. Budget, which is giving us 56,660. If you have 60,000, you can actually get this setup done. I don't know if I have everything listed here, but this is what I have, and this is what you need. So the camera I use as an example is SA11. That's a Canon camcorder. So, I mean, the cheapest you can get now with a brand new camera. As I mentioned, there are some consumer cameras that are less than 10,000. Okay, they are less than $500, or they are more than $500. So it depends on what. It's okay. I'm using a Canon camcorder SA64. So 64, if it's higher, it's going to be, I don't know what's actually the problem with yours. So you have to check with a repairer. Some people are also selling it 19,500. Okay. Then you have your video transmission. So this is okay. So the transmitter is costing 3,500 roughly. That is the booth box, the orange one. Give me orange. This. So budget friendly, but I don't know. This works for me a lot over there, but it's not here now. So this works for me fine. So I don't know. You can, if the one that uses the battery is 300, this is 200 meters. 300 meters, you can get it around that price. The 200 meters, you can get it 2,500. Just this one, I can use. It's not battery, but I can use power bank. Okay, so I just use the Type-C cable, connect it to my V-mount, and I'm good to go with this. Okay. So that is what I put there. If you have money, then you can go in for the Holy Land and all of that. The Action, I think they are costing around 6,000, 7,000. So when you put the price in, that will give you that price. And the main camera, we don't want delay. There's always latency. I think it's 0.08 or 0 point something. So that one there is there, but it's faster. Most of my production I use it, and surprisingly, it's even faster than my Asion one that I'm paying huge for. It's even faster than that one. So you have to buy the fiber HDMI cable. Please try and get the fiber HDMI cable. Even that one, it doesn't mean it will not spoil. It will still to sync with the video. We don't want any delay. Somebody is asking if there's a latency in the. There is. Somebody is telling me is it TerraDeck doesn't have a latency. English. It doesn't have latency in it. It's a zero latency. Because I'm yet to see one that doesn't have it at all, a transmitter that doesn't. Even audio sometimes delay. Then we have HDMI connectors. So some of these cameras, they are what we call micro and mini connectors. So you have to get. But in actual sense, because things get missing, you can do it for, right? Then 1.5 meter HDMI, those short HDMI cables, I have a lot. There's one I'm using here, the short one, 1.5 meters. We budgeted 5. If you need 1 or 2, one from your mixer to your television or your monitor, and then from the transmitter more to keep them. That's very important. Then I put here the lithium battery. This battery I'm buying too is for the transmitter. So I advise that you buy transmitters that uses the Type-C port for charging, so you can connect batteries. And now some of the batteries we have now, they have Type-C port on it that you can connect direct and use. So you don't have to even connect it to the transmitter, and that's going to work for you. And so I was even telling my church they should even get a V-mount battery and use dummy batteries, because you can actually record the whole. Then 4-channel mixer, I put Osego Stream 4-channel. It's at 7,000. If you import it, it comes to Ghana, the custom will get hold of it. But with $300, you can get one. If you want to buy it yourself, you can. I did that some time ago initially, and the amount I paid at custom, when I went to custom, they gave me somebody I thought it was for free. They say the person is a broker and all of that. So yeah, you can order it through the post office too, but Ghana post office, it will go and pass through the custom, and when you are explaining to them, they don't understand. Even if you show them receipt, they will don't want to accept it. So you can look at that, or you can even budget. The fill well is around 3,000 something, so you can do that budget. Okay, but I believe somebody also should get the visa as a cheaper, but this is a budget. Then tripod stand. So the tripod, we are doing 2 budgets here. Ideally, there is one that is 400 cedis. So I'll probably buy the 1,8991 and then add the 400 one, because we still use it. A lot of people use it. The Yontin, is it your thing? You think, yes, 860 tripod is good. I've seen a lot of people using it. In my church, we use it. Even in my business, that's what I use a lot. But for the main camera, it's very important to have a heavy camera. The video I'm doing right now service on that tripod. That's the name, Yontin 860. So you can look at that option so that it reduces the price for you. But for the main camera, you need a heavy-duty camera. One thing about main camera is that when you zoom in, you may have the camera shaking. Okay, so once the distance is far and you zoom in, the camera may shake without you necessarily touching it. So you need a tripod that is heavy-duty to hold your camera for you. So that is important. Then, so that is the Coman DX165. So there are some that are even cheaper, 1,500. But I think the 1,899 should be like 2,000 for you. So that's quite important. Then you have dolly. The dolly I budgeted for only one, actually. I budgeted for only one dolly. So you can see that it's 600 cedis. I think there are some, if you are buying the 400 tripod, then it will be cheaper in a way for you. Okay, so that is very, very important. You can look at that option too. Then I budgeted for 64 gig SD card. Okay, then we look at the, so that one we are buying two because it's a 2-camera setup. Then we also look at the HDMI monitor screen, which is 1,500. You can use what's the name? Ankama Clement. You can join on YouTube. YouTube is having actually the presentation on the pricing and all of that. So you can join the YouTube. So we have the HDMI monitor screen. The monitor screen that I use or I've been using for my church is quite expensive. It's around 4,000. But then the account is Andrew Azasu. Or if you go to my, how do you call it, my bio, you should be able to see it. So the HDMI monitor screen, you can buy a television. the difference you see is going to be the same. You can buy this 34, is it 34? No, 24 screen. That should work. Okay, 24-inch screen, that will work for you. So that is very important. You don't have to get something too expensive. Okay, so this budget is giving us 56,748. So if your church want to get a 2-camera setup with Canon SA11, okay, I know there are cameras that are costing 45,000. So if I change the price to a Sony camera that is 45,000, okay, then you see that the price will change to 108,748. That's quite high, but it's easy. Some churches will be able to. But if you are not, just go for your 19,001, or you look for any Sony camera that works. So now let's see if I change the camera to 1. Okay, if you are using 1 camera, then I don't need a transmitter, so I will make that size 0. Okay, then HDMI cable, I will need the HDMI cable. It's very important because once it's 1 camera, the HDMI cable is what's going to work for you. Then the HDMI connector is also very important. We have 4 over here, so I can just do 2. Then the 1.5 meters HDMI, I will just do 4. Then the battery, I will do 0 because I don't need battery. I won't be using the transmitters. I needed this for the transmitters. Then the Osego stream, which is the 4-channel HDMI splitter, I need it. The reason why I need it is because I want to be able to scale up. But what of if you want to get a capture card, which is around 2,000? Because Osego stream have a dual channel capture card. Okay, I have one. I don't know where it should be in my things. It's 2, so you can actually use that. That's around 2,000. So if I put that in, that should give me less. The tripod, I need only 1, and I need a heavy-duty one. That's important. The dolly, I don't need a dolly here. SD card, you can still keep the 2. Okay, let's keep the 2. So that if you copy one, you can, because of the MISA, you need it. So in this one, I think I needed 3. I even needed 3 for the other one. So let's maintain the 2, okay? You let's maintain the 2, it's okay. Then the HDMI monitor screen, we can do 0 because here we are saying that we are using a capture card, but it's having an output. Also, GoStream have a capture card, which is around 2,000. So it's having an output, so if you select, it will go above 20,000 still, okay? Bellsmart is having some of these cameras, use one, so you can check with him, okay? So the rest that are here are mirrorless cameras, and they are quite expensive. For example, this camera that is costing around $16,500. This Sony PX X400 shoulder cam Koda is going to be among the broadcast cameras, which probably you don't need. And sometimes some qualities to, once you have enough light and your video on the live streaming, is sometimes you don't see that much of a difference, okay? So I personally, if I want to buy a camera, I'll go for Canon or Sony. That's what I will go for, because especially Sony, in terms of lighting, is a better option. Let's look at some capture cards outside the country and see the prices. So look at the capture card, that is costing $34. Then you have the Blackmagic, you have the Magic Wall USB capture. This is $299. That's quite high. So you can just imagine this capture card price is the same as buying a Osego Stream. Yeah, it's the same. It's even more expensive than the Osego Stream. So why won't I want to buy Osego Stream or AV Matrix? Or even if you buy 8-10 minutes, it's even better than going to spend this $299 to buy a capture card. Look at this one. It's just HDMI 359. So some of these pricings, I don't really understand them, how they arrive at these prices. But you can see that a lot of them are quite expensive. So it's just better you go for your MISA, and then you can use it, okay? So that is the budget. No, it was a 3-camera, and we've gone into 100,000, 120,000 just because of the camera we were buying, okay? So yeah, that is the budget. Now, this budget I've done is only one camera I use. So normally, if I'm doing it for a church, I will bring maybe 3 options of cameras that I think they need, okay? I will not even look at the mirrorless and the DSLR cameras. I will do this. If you want the mirrorless, then I give you a budget for it. But I mean, the first thing I'll go for is the Canon. I've used Canon, I've used the Sony. So I'll go for Canon and Sony. For Panasonic, I don't know. I just don't like it when in lighting situations, it's a problem, okay? Now, even with the lighting, I've seen that a lot of people also struggling with the kind of light you have to buy. You just need a profile or COB light and then some RGB light. You can buy all this from China, because almost all of them now, we get them from China. Once you get a good supplier, they can bring it in. Even with LED screen right now, there are quite a good number of Chinese companies that you can get them to give you an estimate and all of that. And I quite have some numbers even from China. It's just that sometimes I'm worrying them a lot with pricing, and if people don't buy, I don't want to go back and talk about it again. Is there any other question for me? I just joined. Hope I'm not missing a lot. You missed a lot. I am almost done. I'm doing presentation on YouTube, but the video is on my YouTube channel. So go to my bio and take it from there. You will have a detailed presentation there, especially the place that I did the budget on the equipment, okay? So pick the budget for me. So we did a budget, and this is the one camera. We try our best to pick items that we need. Let's just assume that the software, you are not paying for it, but don't go and use the pirated version. So you are not paying for it, but let's assume the rest you have to pay for them. So you need about 25,000 to have this setup. Okay. Now, if you use the Osego Stream, so let's go back and change. If you use the Osego Stream, and let's assume it's 7,000, then you need 30,000 to have this setup. And as I was saying, it's better to buy a MISA than to buy a capture card. So with this budget, 30,000 should do it, okay? 30,000 should do it. So that's quite okay. Any other thing? I don't think I have any. Hey, there's a call coming in. Okay, so Jeffrey, give me your phone. Let me give you the number to call. I think somebody is trying to look for me. So I'm waiting for questions. If you have questions on equipment, let me know. Those of you on TikTok, try and go to my YouTube channel and get the figures, because I have an Excel sheet that I'm putting the pricing in there. Questions? Can I buy Misa camera wireless HDMI? You can. So it depends on the kind of cameras you want. So even with the 30,000, if we squeeze it, you can get it. Okay, what are the specifications to look out for when buying a PC for church streaming and brand? I'm not a computer kind of guy, but then I know when I want to buy my machine, I know that I want i7. Yes. So it depends on what you are using it for. For church streaming, an i7 machine with maybe 16 gig RAM should do. I think the RAM is going to play a very major part of your stream. So it's very important. Those of you asking for my YouTube link on, how do we call it, on TikTok, it's in my bio. You can search Andrew Azasu, and then you'll be able to get me. What is the best video mixer I can get? The best video mixer, how do I answer this question? There are quite a lot of them. So you want an 8-channel mixer. The 8-channel is Blackmagic that will work for you. Blackmagic ATEM Extreme. So the Blackmagic ATEM Extreme should work for you. Then AV Matrix doesn't have 8-channel. Osego Stream is coming out with 8-channel this year, and AV Matrix is also coming out with 8-channel. But with Blackmagic, you will be able to get 8-channel mixer from them. And then Data Video. Data Video is also having 8-channel. So they are quite the ones that you can get if you are looking for an 8-channel mixer. So my YouTube, the link is in the bio. You know, I can't put it in the comment section, but you can search for my name, Andrew Azasu. Put the YouTube. Okay, so Andrew Azasu on my YouTube channel, and you'll be able to. Please, can I use Sony Handycam as a starter? Does it have HDMI? If it has HDMI output, why not? You can. So once you connect it, let me look for that for you. Once you connect it and it works, that's fine. But you make sure you have enough light. So the Handycam, there are quite a number of them here. There's some that is even 4K. So pick my screen for me. So this is Sony, this is 4K, and I'm very sure you are talking about this. It should have HDMI output. You should make sure that you have enough light in the auditorium, especially the one on the stage, and then you are good to go. Once the camera have an HDMI output, you can. You can even use your phone to start the live streaming, as I mentioned. If you use the Prism app, you can do that. You have your lower third and all of that. You do production studio installation. No, I haven't been doing that. I know quite a number of people who do it, okay? If you want recommendation in terms of equipment and all of that, I can. But I know somebody who can actually get you the equipment for your studio installations. Maybe in the near future, I will go into that. So I'm waiting for questions in the next 5 minutes. If I don't have, somebody say apart from.
It was a follow-up to the 8-channel mixer, apart from the ATEM Extreme. What you explained?
Okay. So apart from the ATEM Extreme, you can have Data Video. Those are 8-channel mixers, because I'm not seeing a lot of the 8-channels in the system. The Osego Stream is coming out with 8-channel this year. AV Matrix is coming out with 8-channel. What they have is a 6-channel mixer. I know YOLO Boss, the device I'm using for the streaming, they are also coming out with, yeah. Now, those of you on TikTok, I think the sound is good there. So what I did was to pick the sound from my Rodecaster with, so you can see the cable coming from my mixer.
Another question.
How do I fetch sound with phone live streaming for church? How do I fetch sound with phone live streaming? So with phone live streaming, I think I just talked about this. So you see my phone, you see how I'm picking the sound. I'm picking it from the Rodecaster. And the last time I showed you Mano device that I bought and I was even selling it. How much was I selling it? 1,500 or so. That is having a Type-C port as an output. So if you pick the sound from the mixer board, you put it in and then connect it to your phone and you get the sound. If this my sound is good for you, if you can hear the sound correctly on the YouTube, then it means you are actually getting the sound from the mixer board. That's the Rodecaster Pro 2. If the sound is good, then that's the sound you are getting. I just connected the cable to it from the Type-C port. So I don't know if you are getting a good sound from my TikTok, but I know the sound is good on my YouTube. You say there's another question? Ankama Clement, you can ask questions. Yeah, that's good. What software are you using to stream on YouTube if you can educate? So the streaming I'm doing right now, I'm not using a software, I'm using the YOLO Boss. So a YOLO Boss is a device that it's an Android device that is acting like a computer on its own. So you see the questions you ask, I bring them, have that ability. So I can pick the comment from Facebook, YouTube, and all of that. But if I'm doing another production and I don't want to use the YOLO Boss, then I will use vMix or I'll use the Prism software, okay? So the streaming software there, we have quite a number of them there. So you have Wirecast, you have vMix, you have OBS, which is free, and then the Prism. And the Prism is something I want to use now because the way the comment on the screen, Prism is able to do that now. So yeah, it's one kind of software that you have to look out for now. If you if you don't have money to buy the vMix, then you can look for the Prism. That's PRISM. Okay, look for the desktop application or you look for the phone application and use, and you will not regret it. Okay. So I'm still waiting for questions. And my phone number, if you go to my bio, you should be able to get it, but I think I even have it here. So my last slide. So make it full. So my last slide is having my website address and my phone number. So you can get in touch with me using this, okay? So thank you very much. If there is no question, then I will end for today. Today, what we did was to look at budget. And as we have seen, if you are using a visa with Canon SA11, with all the things I've mentioned, you'll be looking at a budget of 30,000 roughly. Yeah. And if you are doing 2 cameras, then you should be around, is it 56,000 or something like that? So that is for a 2-camera setup using Canon SA11. Canon SA11 is around 19,000, 19,500. Okay. Now we have cameras that are even more expensive than that. As I mentioned in my presentation, let me do a recap of those who are now coming. We mentioned that you can also get cameras to rent to start, to build your team, you train your team. Once they are good, you invest in the equipment, okay? I also mentioned that it would be best to get quality cameras, okay, to start with. So if you have one quality camera, then you start, and then you can scale up. I also mentioned that if you are buying one camera, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use a capture card. Buy one camera and buy a video mixer so that it allows you to scale up. When you are going to buy additional camera, you don't have to go and spend on a mixer. With the mixer you're using is a 4-channel mixer, so you can actually connect additional laptop to have your lyrics and all of that going on the video direct. Okay, that's also very important. So you buy items that you can use in the future. You don't buy things that you can't use after some time. Buy them. Once you are upgrading, you should be able to. We also talk about sound, where I mentioned that sound is a very important aspect of your production, okay? And I know that a lot of churches, almost all churches, the sound is the first thing they buy before they look at any other thing, okay? So sound is important. It's just that sometimes the kind of sound our sound engineers give is quite bad. So yes. So sometimes what I do is that maybe I'll connect my laptop to the microphone and all of that to be able to get the sound directly. But I've seen also a lot of these sound engineers who are doing great. Once they give you the sound, you will not have an issue with it, okay? So sometimes people ask the question of whether analog or digital. And a good sound engineer should be able to work with any of them. And I've seen a lot of sound engineers telling me that, oh, they like analog and all of that. So yeah, it depends on whoever is in charge of the sound. So sound is a very important aspect of live streaming. Then we also talk about the internet, and we said you have to check if you have good internet in the area. If you don't, then if it's 720 you are doing, then do 720 so that you don't run into problem every time. That's also very important, okay? So let me take another question. I'm sure it's going to come from, okay, this is from Bishop Prince Alex Agbenyeke. Is there anything that we can connect my phone to the laptop without internet? Is there anything that we can connect my phone to the laptop? So you want to connect your phone to your laptop. Okay, so you will need a software called NDI. So with them, you have to be on the same network. You don't really need, how do I say, you don't need a data or anything. You just have to be on the same network. So if you have a router, you connect to the Wi-Fi with your phone, and your PC is connected with the cable to the router, it's on the same network. So with NDI software, you can. But it's just that the NDI camera, the NDI camera, you have to buy it with your phone. I think it's 90 Ghana cedis or so. But there's a free Prism lens that you can install. Prism, you install the Prism on your lap. Akama Clement is how much is the Osego stream? A lot of people are selling it between 6,500 to 7,000. If you want to order it yourself, you can. You will get around $300. I think you pay something for shipping and all of that. It's just that unfortunately, if you custom catch it, you pay more than how much people are selling it. I learned Bell Smile is also ordering some. That's what the company told me. You know, I'm in touch with the company all the time. So I'll ask him when he's receiving orders, and then you can get it from him and all of that, okay? Another question? Okay, so thank you very much. Somebody said we are using Behringer sound card, but our live feed seems to pick the sound from the background into vMix. So check your sound. If you pick the camera, you see the Behringer sound card. So you have to check if you're speaking the sound, because it's only one way in. One nice thing about computer is that garbage in, garbage out. What you feed is what you are going to get. So you have to really pay attention. You have to pay attention to that. Is very important, okay? When you are picking the sound, check if the sound, if you are picking the capture card or the mixer, just check the sound side. Because if you are using, I know those who complain about this are people who are using OBS. So they don't go into the setting to change it. If you're using OBS, go into the setting and change the OBS sound to your sound card. Okay, then you can have your sound coming without the background. But if you don't and you think you are receiving sound, you may be receiving ambient sound, and it's not going to make your video quality. But I know it's a lot of the OBS. If it's vMix, when you are adding the camera, you see audio, so you can actually see that, oh, the name is your sound card. But if it is OBS, sometimes the sound part is quite complicated and all of that. So it's something you have to look out for. If it's OBS, please go to the property and then select the sound card from there. If it's vMix, when you're adding the video, you have to add the sound direct to it. Or if you want to add it separately, you go to audio, but make sure it is selected, the audio is selected green. You select it, it will be green, that's when the sound will come in. Other than that, you'll be picking the auditorium sound. But there are a lot of things that happen when it comes to equipment. I remember there was a time I was very sure I was picking the right sound, but the walkie-talkie I was using when I talk, it sounds in my whole production. Like we are hearing it in the video we were missing. The walkie-talkie, when you talk, you hear it. So we decided to just put it off and go blindly and shoot like that. Okay. So there are a lot of factors that are going to be at play. Okay. So yes, I'll be ending today, and I will try and see what we can do next week. We have a lot that we will do. I will also try and see if I can bring in some experts so that we have a chat and talk, because there's a lot that goes on, especially with our church media teams, and we want to be able to have one voice and be able to educate one another on some of these issues. Okay, so my name is Andrew. I'm the founder of Anchor Media and the convener of the Church Media Masterclass, and I'm also available. If you want training for your church, just get in touch with me and I'll get you a proposal. I'll also be visiting churches these days, so if you go to my bio, you see Church Media Tour. You can go and fill the form, but make sure you have a setup. A setup, if it's 4 channels are fine, but I need 1 input or 2, okay? I'll probably even come in for a mixer, so if you have just 4 channels, then we can convert it to 7 channel. Then I'll add 2 or 3 cameras to your production, 1 gimbal and then 1 cutaway to your production. The idea is for you to see the quality when you are using mirrorless cameras with lenses. You see the quality, then you also be able to see if you're using gimbal, the difference it's bringing to your production and all of that. So it's very, very important. You fill the form, you have to let your church leadership knows about this, because when I come, we will do 1 hour to 30-minute discussion where I will talk to the team. We'll talk about directing and areas that they need to improve. I will also spend time to observe and see things that are wrongly done within the church. Okay, so thank you and see you next week.